2022 saw plenty of strong exclusives from the Nintendo Switch, including multiple Pokemon games and new games featuring the likes of both Kirby and Bayonetta. However, 2023 is the year many have been looking forward to, including myself, thanks to a little game called The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. So, with that, here are the biggest Nintendo Switch games coming out in 2023 and beyond. I'm starting this list off with a bang. Hollow Knight Silksong. Yes, it's releasing multi-platform, and yes, one of those platforms is the Nintendo Switch. Hollow Knight, for those who didn't play it, is, in my humble opinion, one of the greatest Metroidvania games of all time. Silksong was initially going to be a DLC expansion to Hollow Knight, and it grew so big that it became its own game. In Silksong, players will take control of Hornet, an unplayable character from the first game, who regularly interacts with and battles the Knight. Hornet has a unique moveset compared to the Knight, such as a diagonal downward strike and slightly different system for healing, which creates a different feel even if the games are similar. From what little I played at E3 2019, the game absolutely held up to the original, and honestly, this may be my personal most anticipated game, even over Zelda. Silksong is set to release June 12, 2023. Pikmin 4 has had a lengthy development cycle, to say the least. Back in 2015, Shigeru Miyamoto teased that it was in development, and since then, the only updates have been that it was low priority and slowly progressing. However, Pikmin fans finally saw an exciting update in 2022 that Pikmin 4 was on its way in 2023. 10 years after the release of Pikmin 3. Not much is known from the very brief teaser, not even if you'll play as Olimar, Louie, or someone completely new. However, I'm sure cute Pikmin goodness and fun garden-themed puzzles are on their way. Speaking personally here, Advance Wars is one of my favorite grid-based strategy games, so it was both exciting when a remake was announced for 2021, and a shame when the game was delayed to 2022, and then indefinitely delayed due to the war in Ukraine. For those who haven't played Advance Wars, the game is a super simple turn-based grid strategy game, similar in many ways to Fire Emblem. However, instead of leveling up specific units, you'll be capturing bases and using finances to purchase them, with each commander you can control having specific abilities that can turn the tides of battle. While the gameplay is deceptively simple, it's one of those perfect strategy games where it's easy to learn but takes time and skill to master. Hopefully we'll see a 2023 release of the reboot. Speaking of fantastic grid-based strategy games, a brand new Fire Emblem Engage, is on its way to the Nintendo Switch. Fire Emblem was nearly on its way out before Fire Emblem Awakening breathed new life into the series on the Nintendo 3DS. Then, in 2019, Fire Emblem saw the excellent Fire Emblem Three Houses, which went on to become the best-selling Fire Emblem game in the franchise. Fire Emblem Engage has its own interesting concept in the player being able to utilize Fire Emblem heroes of the past to help them fight, including the likes of Marth and one of the greatest Fire Emblem characters of all time, Lindis, at the very least making an appearance. Fire Emblem 7 is the best Fire Emblem. Fight me. Fire Emblem Engage is set to release January 20, 2023. While we're here in turn-based grid strategy land, it seems like 2023 will be a great year for fans of this style of game. Metal Slug Tactics, which was initially set to be released in 2022, was delayed and now set to release in 2023. SNK's Metal Slug games were known for their fantastic and fun artwork, as well as brutal difficulty. They were arcade coin-eating beat-em-up games that were a whole ton of fun, and Metal Slug Tactics seems to capture that same artistic energy, but in the tactics genre. That said, it's unclear if the game will maintain the brutal difficulty of their predecessors. However, if you want a brand new tactical experience, this is definitely something worth keeping an eye out for. Metal Slug Tactics has no set release date, but currently is supposed to release sometime in 2023. If there's one game series that didn't see enough spin-offs or sequels, it was Jet Set Radio. The fantastic Dreamcast game spawned one single sequel, Jet Set Radio Future, before the series sadly hung up its futuristic rollerblades. However, the year is 2023, and a spiritual successor from Team Reptile by the name of Bomb Rush Cyberfunk is on its way. How much of a spiritual successor is it? Well, not only does it look visually and gameplay-wise incredibly similar to Jet Set Radio games, but the team even managed to secure a number of tracks from legendary game composer Hideki Naganuma. Naganuma wrote the incredibly funky and fresh song Ain't Nothing Like a Funky Beat for the team's former game, Lethal League Blaze, and is back at it with another hot track in Get Enough for Bomb Rush Cyberfunk. So get ready to grind your way through the dopest game of the year in summer 2023. Octopath Traveler released exclusively on the Switch back in 2018, before eventually coming to PC and Xbox One. Its gorgeous HD 2D graphics have since become a new staple of Square Enix, and were utilized in games like Live a Live's remake and Triangle Strategy. It also has an absolutely beautiful soundtrack. Octopath Traveler 2 features a brand new world from the first game, with 8 new characters and 8 new stories. I'm personally hoping they intertwine a little more than the first game, but any RPG fan should be overjoyed to see a new Octopath coming out. Octopath Traveler is set to release February 24, 2023. In Pepper Grinder, you'll take control of Pepper, a drill-wielding treasure hunter who's been shipwrecked and robbed. The gameplay has you drilling through the environment at quick speeds, collecting treasure and solving puzzles. You'll be able to use these treasures to upgrade Pepper and your drill. The game looks to be a fun, fast-paced game with a great system of movement, and it's one that I'm personally looking forward to. Pepper Grinder releases sometime in 2023. If games like Unravel or It Takes Two are up your alley, you just may be into Blanc, an upcoming co-op adventure game where players control either a wolf cub or fawn who have been stranded in a snowstorm. The two players will have to work together to navigate through obstacles in this absolutely adorable animal adventure. Blanc releases February 14, 2023. Just in time for Valentine's Day, just saying. Alright, so, admittedly, this one may not be coming out in 2023. But we can all hope. Way back in 2017, it was announced that Metroid Prime 4 was in development, and since then, there have only been minor updates, with it being revealed in 2019 that development had restarted under Retro Studios, the same studio behind the original Metroid Prime. While Metroid fans got to scratch that 2D exploration itch with Metroid Dread in 2021, the Prime series is its own wonderful and unique thing, and the last game we saw was released way back in 2007. So here's to hoping that 2023 is the year of Metroid Prime 4. As I alluded to in the intro, The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom is the hotly anticipated sequel to Breath of the Wild. Since the release of Breath of the Wild, the game has become such a beloved game and mainstay, it's difficult to find open world games that haven't at least been somewhat influenced by it, or at the very least, compared to it, fairly or not. While the Breath of the Wild sequel was teased to come out far sooner, as Breath of the Wild released in 2017, and Tears of the Kingdom is using the same engine to our understanding, 6 years later, we're finally seeing Tears of the Kingdom come to fruition. And it's those 6 years that makes Tears of the Kingdom stand out even more. Zelda games are known for their high quality, and the fact that the team takes how much time it seems to need to create some of gaming's most stunning and memorable games. Whether it completely reinvents the wheel with a Breath of the Wild, or iterates in fantastic ways a la Majora's Mask. So here's to hoping Tears of the Kingdom is the Majora's Mask to Breath of the Wild, a game that takes the foundation of Breath of the Wild, but iterates in fantastic new ways. I know this sounds overwhelmingly positive for a game that hasn't been released yet, but Nintendo rarely lets this Zelda fan down. The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom is set to release May 12, 2023. And there you have just some of the best Switch games coming out in 2023. Was there anything we missed? Let us know in the comments, and I'll see you next time.